Welcome to my channel. Try to hear the latest story.
My fiancée told her friends, if he really wants to marry me, he should prove he's worth it. I heard it all. Next day, I canceled every wedding payment quietly. 3 days later, when she arrived at the venue and saw the sign on the locked doors, she called me 19 times in a row. I'm Jeff, 34, and until last week I thought I was marrying someone who actually wanted to be my wife. Turns out, she viewed our wedding as some kind of test I needed to pass, and when I found out, I decided to stop taking the exam altogether. Tessa and I had been together for almost 4 years, engaged for 7 months. The wedding was scheduled for 2 weeks from now, invitations sent, catering paid for, flowers ordered, the whole thing. We'd been planning it for months, or rather, I'd been planning it while Tessa made increasingly expensive demands and complained that I wasn't doing enough to make her feel special. The breaking point came last Thursday night. Tessa was hosting a girls' night at our apartment with her 3 closest friends, Maya, Christina, and her cousin Rachel. I was supposed to be at my buddy's place watching the game, but he had to cancel last minute because his kid got sick. I came home around 9 p.m., tired and ready to just crash in the bedroom and stay out of their way. I came in through the front door quietly, not wanting to interrupt their evening. I could hear them in the living room, wine glasses clinking, music playing softly. I was heading toward the bedroom when I heard Tessa's voice rise above the others. Honestly, if Jeff really wants to marry me, he needs to prove he's worth it. I'm not settling for a basic wedding or a basic life. I froze in the hallway, Maya's voice. But hasn't he been planning everything? Didn't he book that venue you wanted? Yeah, but that's the bare minimum, Tessa said. I'm talking about showing me he can provide the lifestyle I deserve. Like, I told him I wanted a honeymoon in Bali, and he's talking about going to Costa Rica because it's more affordable. Who cares about affordable? If you love someone, you make it happen. Christina laughed. Tessa, you're terrible, but honestly, I get it. You should have everything you want. Exactly, Tessa said. And if he can't step up, maybe I'm marrying the wrong person. Rachel, remember that guy you introduced me to at your office party? The investor? Maybe I should have gotten his number. They all laughed. My hand was on the bedroom doorknob, my whole body tense. I stood there listening for another 5 minutes. Tessa complained about the engagement ring, said it was nice but not impressive, complained about my car, my apartment, my salary, said her friends all had boyfriends who treated them like queens, while she was stuck with someone who played it safe. I didn't announce myself. I just quietly walked back out of the apartment and sat in my car for an hour processing what I'd heard. This woman I was about to marry, who I'd been planning a life with, saw me as inadequate, as someone who needed to prove himself worthy of her. Not as a partner, but as a provider who wasn't providing enough. I drove to a hotel that night, texted Tessa that I'd had too much to drink at my buddy's and was staying over rather than driving. She texted back okay with a heart emoji. The next morning, Friday, I started making calls. First to the wedding venue. I'd put down a $5,000 deposit and paid another $8,000 toward the total. I explained there was a family emergency and we needed to cancel. They were sympathetic but firm. Deposits are non-refundable, but they could cancel the remaining balance. I lost $5,000 but saved myself from paying the remaining $12,000. Then the caterer. Another $3,000 deposit gone, but $7,000 in remaining payments canceled the florist, the photographer, the DJ, the cake baker. I spent 3 hours on the phone systematically dismantling our wedding. Some vendors were kind about it. Others were annoyed. All of them processed my cancellations. The honeymoon was easy. I'd booked Costa Rica through a site with flexible cancellation, got a full refund minus a $200 processing fee. By noon on Friday, our wedding was completely canceled. I'd lost about $9,000 in non-refundable deposits, but I'd saved myself from spending another $25,000 on a wedding to someone who thought I needed to prove my worth. I went back to the apartment while Tessa was at work, packed a bag with clothes and essentials, left my key on the kitchen counter with a note. Good luck finding someone who meets your standards. The wedding's canceled. Don't contact me. Then I checked into an extended stay hotel and turned off my phone. Update 1. I turned my phone back on Saturday morning. 47 missed calls from Tessa, 32 text messages ranging from confused to angry to panicked. I didn't read most of them. Just scrolled through enough to get the gist. She'd found my note Friday evening and had been trying to reach me ever since. I called my best friend Derek and told him everything. He was quiet for a long time, then said, "Man, I never liked how she talked to you. You did the right thing. You never said anything. Would you have listened if I did?" He had a point. Derek offered to let me stay with him, but I declined. I needed space to think, and the hotel was actually peaceful. I spent Saturday walking around the city, getting coffee, sitting in bookstores, trying to process the fact that my wedding, my entire future as I'd imagined it, was gone. Sunday morning, Tessa somehow got Derek's number and called him. He told her I was fine but didn't want to talk to her. She apparently lost it, crying and yelling that I was overreacting and needed to call her immediately. Derek told her she should respect my space and hung up. Monday was when things got interesting. Tessa had a final venue walkthrough scheduled for 2 p.m. This was something we'd booked weeks ago. A chance to see the space set up, finalize table arrangements, that kind of thing. She'd invited her mom, her sister, and her maid of honor Maya to come along. I knew about this appointment because I'd been copied on all the venue emails. When I'd canceled Friday, I'd specifically told them to put a notice on the door for any appointments we had scheduled. They'd agreed. At 2:47 p.m. on Monday, my phone started ringing. Tessa. I didn't answer. Then it rang again. And again. 19 calls in a row, back to back. Then my voicemail filled up with her screaming. I listened to one of them. "What the hell did you do, Jeff? We're standing outside the venue and there's a sign that says our event is canceled. My mother is here. Maya is here. Everyone is staring at me like I'm insane. Call me back right now." I deleted the voicemail, blocked her number. Then her mother called me. I answered that one. "Jeff, what is going on? Tessa is hysterical. The venue says you canceled everything." "I did cancel everything, Mrs. Chen. The wedding is off." "Off? What do you mean off? The wedding is in 2 weeks. Was in 2 weeks. I'm not marrying Tessa. I'm sorry you found out this way, but she should have told you when she found my note on Friday. She said you left a note about needing space, not about canceling the wedding." "That's not what my note said. It very clearly said the wedding was canceled. She lied to you." Mrs. Chen went quiet. Then, "Why are you doing this? Did something happen?" I considered telling her what I'd overheard. The comments about me not being worth it, about needing to prove myself, about maybe marrying the wrong person, but I didn't want to get into it. "We're not compatible. I realized that and I ended it. I'm sorry for the inconvenience." "Inconvenience? Jeff, we have family flying in from Taiwan. We have hotel blocks. What are we supposed to tell people?" "Tell them the truth. The wedding is canceled. Tessa and I broke up." She hung up on me. Update 2. Over the next few days, the fallout spread through our social circle. Tessa apparently told people I'd abandoned her without explanation and ruined her life. She posted on social media about betrayal and heartbreak, painting herself as the victim. Several mutual friends reached out asking what happened. I didn't defend myself publicly. I just told people who asked directly that we'd had fundamental incompatibilities and I'd ended the relationship. Most people seemed to accept that, though a few of Tessa's closer friends sent me angry messages calling me selfish and cruel. Then Maya called me. She was one of the women from that girls' night. "Jeff, I need to talk to you about something." "I'm not interested in hearing Tessa's side of things, Maya." That's not... Look, I feel terrible about what happened. I was there that night. Thursday night at your apartment. I know you were there. You heard us talking? I heard everything. She was silent for a moment. Oh God, Jeff, I'm so sorry. What Tessa said was awful. I should have pushed back harder on it. You all laughed. I know, we did. And I feel sick about it now. Tessa's been telling everyone you just bailed on her for no reason. But if you heard what she said about you, I understand completely why you left. Thanks for saying that. For what it's worth, a lot of us have been talking. Christina and I both think Tessa's version of events doesn't add up. She keeps saying you abandoned her, but she won't explain why. It's starting to make her look bad. Good. Jeff, would you be okay if I told people what really happened? What she said that night? I thought about it. Part of me wanted to keep the high road, not air our dirty laundry. But another part of me was tired of being painted as the villain. Do what you think is right, I said finally. But I'm not going to be part of any drama. I just want to move on. Maya apparently did tell people. Within 2 days, the narrative around our breakup had shifted completely. Suddenly, people were messaging me saying they understood, that they'd always thought Tessa was too demanding, that I'd made the right call. Tessa's social media posts about betrayal were getting comments asking for her side of the story. What had she said to make me leave? She deleted all the posts. Update 3. 2 weeks after I left, the weekend that would have been our wedding. I got a call from an unknown number against my better judgment. I answered. Jeff? It was Tessa. She sounded like she'd been crying. Please don't hang up. What do you want? I need to talk to you. Please, just give me 10 minutes. There's nothing to talk about. I know what you heard. Maya told me you were there that night. Jeff, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean any of it. I was just showing off for my friends, trying to sound cool. By talking about how I'm not good enough for you, by joking about marrying someone else. It was stupid. I was being shallow and stupid. But I love you. I want to marry you. Can we please just talk in person? No. Jeff, please. Tessa, you spent an entire evening tearing me apart to your friends. You said I needed to prove I was worth marrying you. Do you have any idea how that made me feel? Hearing the person I love talk about me like I'm some kind of inadequate charity case? She was crying now. I know, I'm sorry, I'll do anything to fix this. There's nothing to fix. This is over. I'm not marrying someone who doesn't respect me, who views me as someone who needs to prove his worth. That's not what partnership looks like. I do respect you. No, you don't. You never did. You tolerated me because I was nice and stable, but you wanted someone more impressive. Someone who could give you the Instagram-worthy life you think you deserve. I'm not that person, and I don't want to be. That's not fair. You know what's not fair? Planning a life with someone who's secretly disappointed in you, who's constantly measuring you against some imaginary standard you'll never meet. I spent months trying to make you happy, and the whole time you were telling your friends I needed to step up. I'm done trying to be enough for someone who'll never think I am. She was sobbing now. I made a mistake. One mistake. You're throwing away 4 years over one conversation. It wasn't one conversation, Tessa. It was one conversation I happened to overhear. How many others were there? How many times did you complain about me to your friends when I wasn't around? How many times did you compare me to other guys and find me lacking? She didn't answer. That's what I thought, I said. Goodbye, Tessa. I hung up and blocked the number. Final update. It's been 3 months since I canceled the wedding. I'm doing okay. Better than okay, actually. I moved into a new apartment last month, smaller than the place Tessa and I shared, but it's mine, and I like it. I've been focusing on work, hanging out with friends I'd neglected during the relationship, and figuring out who I am outside of being someone's disappointing fiancé. Tessa reached out one more time about 6 weeks ago through a mutual friend, asking if I'd be willing to meet for coffee to get closure. I declined. I don't need closure from her. I got my closure when I heard her tell her friends I wasn't worth it, unless I proved otherwise. I heard through the grapevine that she moved back in with her parents, that her friends have been distancing themselves from her, especially after Maya and Christina confirmed what she'd said about me. That she's been struggling with the social fallout of people realizing she's not the victim she portrayed herself as. I don't take pleasure in that, but I don't feel guilty about it either. She made her choices. She chose to view me as insufficient. She chose to perform for her friends by tearing me down. She chose to lie about why our wedding was canceled. Those were all her decisions. The $9,000 I lost in deposit still stings a little, but I consider it money well spent. It bought me freedom from a marriage that would have been miserable, from constantly trying to prove myself to someone who would have never been satisfied, from spending my life feeling inadequate because my partner thought I should be someone else. I've started dating again, nothing serious yet, but I've learned to watch for red flags early, to pay attention to how someone talks about me when they think I'm not listening, to value people who appreciate me as I am, not as a project to be improved. Derek asked me last week if I regret the way I handled things, if I wish I'd confronted Tessa directly instead of just canceling everything and leaving. No, I said. She didn't deserve a confrontation. She deserved exactly what she got, the consequences of her own words. Some people think I was too harsh, that I should have given her a chance to explain or apologize before nuking the whole wedding. But here's the thing. What she said wasn't said in anger. It wasn't during a fight. It was casual conversation with her friends, revealing what she actually thought when she had no reason to hide it. That's who she really was. And I'm glad I found out before standing at an altar promising to spend my life with her. The last I heard, Tessa's been telling people she's focusing on herself and learning from past relationships. I hope that's true. I hope she does learn that treating people like they need to earn your respect is a fast track to ending up alone. As for me, I'm learning that being enough for yourself is more important than being enough for someone who'll never be satisfied, that walking away from disrespect isn't cruel, it's necessary. And I'm learning that sometimes the trash takes itself out. You just have to be brave enough to let it go.